Yes, sirree. Welcome everybody to Subconscious Studios Sunday live chat, and welcoming my special guest as usual, Zombie Dre,
Hello.
and the community here. Welcome one and all. I see we got Ronald and Tony and Bert Spanker and Ryan and Jay Snow, Eric Peterson. Hey Eric. Warren, Alice. How you guys doing?
What up, fam?
We are in the studio today. It's hard to know where to even look. What's over here? Okay, this meeting is being live streamed. I've never had that before, have you?
Yeah, it did that to me.
It did it to you?
Yep.
It like tells you you're being live streamed. You better consent to this. Well, as you can see, we're improvising with new camera angles. This is called the back of Kevin's head angle synchronized with the front of Kevin's head angle in the studio next to Zombie Dre. And what you'll find here is that I'm sitting in front of the glorious, what you might want to call Skinny Puppy wall. You will not find any Behringer in this wall. You will only find the equipment which has been in my possession, some of which the oldest equipment that I own. It was also the equipment used to make better part of everything you've heard on Skinny Puppy. If you've heard of that band, you might know that we utilized essentially a lot of this instrument right here, which is the TR-909, and then the TR-808. So the 808 and the 909 are legendary old Roland drum machines. And basically, I think I got the 808 the day it came out, thanks to Gary Smith. This right here was in Images in Vogue, and so this would have been the original Images in Vogue TR-808. There is two 808s up here. Let me see if I can turn in such a way that is advantageous. I don't know. Kind of interesting to see how we can do this. This is the 808 from Images in Vogue, and this is the 808 that I'll call it the download 808. Most people use an 808 kind of just as standard way, like they plug it in and turn it on and listen to the sounds. But in a lot of cases, these two drum machines are utilized as the source for triggers. And what are triggers? Well, triggers are things that like send electrical pulses out, gate pulses you might want to call it, out of the back. So any one of these instruments can also, it has its own output. If you use that output, the trigger can be created, in this case via an audio source, and sent to an instrument such as the Pro One, which is awaiting that gate signal. And you can then say to the Pro One, okay, I am going to record a series of notes into the Pro One, sort of like just put it on record. Such as like that. Then you put it into the sequence mode, sort of like a sequence play. And what it does is it sits and waits. It's sitting and waiting until the TR-808 is going to send it a signal that is going to be, along with the front of the 808, we have 16, let me see if I can show you this very effectively, if I can, without showing you my butt. So anyways, on the TR-808 you have, is that working out? Well, I think it is.
Yeah.
You have these 16 lights here, and when it runs, it will basically display which triggers are lit for each number. So if I have one on a certain number, in this case, the Pro One is being triggered by what's known as the cowbell. Let's go to the cowbell track. Cowbell track as selected up here. So when this is run, let's see what we got going down here on the mixer. Everything on this wall is submixed to this mixer. And this is good for creating stuff. If you're just going an analog way, you don't want to have them on running all the time. I mean, it can drive you crazy. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how we're syncing it. We're syncing this whole setup today via MIDI that's coming in here on the top, and then it's being split DIN sync. A DIN sync out, not MIDI out, is going from here into a custom box back there that one of my buddies made years ago that is like one in and so basically you can clock sources flashing at 120 beats per minute, and what we're going to see is upon start of the clock that you will hear a sequence playing. So what we're hearing right there, I believe, is a variety of things. That I'm going to mute this currently, and let's just run that again. This is the sequence we just created. And you can see that it corresponds to those lights. Yeah, you gotta love the sound of the Pro One. The Pro One is currently, does have some effects on it, also on this wall. The effects are here. Maybe I should perhaps pan this lovely thing up so that we can see the upper part here. Yeah. So, the upper part here is like what we might want to call the old school, the oldest school of Skinny Puppy old school. So I'll explain what I mean. The original effects that we're using here is, right now we're listening to the Korg Delay SDD 2000, and then here you see a 3000, and then here you see a 1000. The 1000, believe it or not, was our original sampler that we used for all the funny things that, you know, basically you would have heard in Skinny Puppy records, where we have like the repeating voices and such. I'll give an example of that. Let's start this again. And let me just... What is that? Saying thank you, of course. And how does it happen? Well, I currently have the TV.
Support. It's effectively pulling the plug for our country.
And you sample.
All right, Congressman Eric Swalwell, thanks so much.
don't
We
want
appreciate
that.
it. We'll have to
See
call
you
a
later.
time out on this interview, but
Can you wait till something good comes along? And looks like we lost that.
firearms dating back years. That's next.
Someday, you'll catch the perfect wave.
And so basically, this is what I mean by a fluke. I've spoken earlier about how things were captured and you know, typically I would have a radio or something plugged in. Today we have the TV. And as you can see, it can take anywhere between a 1 second to 2 second long sample and be pitched, high cut, and there's modulation possibilities. And I had 2 of these, and was a better part of like almost every old Skinny Puppy song you hear. There's like a sort of like a rhythmic TV type thing going, or a radio. Well, this is basically how it was done. So. Yeah, it sounds like your pet, your pet, your pet. And then one day somebody will be like asking me, oh, what is the significance behind the hidden meaning of your pet, your pet, your pet? And so it's kind of like one of the things that, you know, you will never know. Other than that, when you start to get going on stuff like this, the triggering, as you can see from the machines, so far we've triggered the Pro 1, and now we've triggered the funny voices. Well, there's other things here. This unit here is called the Pearl SY1, and is the source of inspiration, of course, for BRAP. And this is also worked in. Today, it's worked in as more of a noise. It's more of a noise thing today. That's weird.
The machines.
On the 808 here, you can see this lovely sort of printing that we have here tells you that Syncussion 1 is the mid-tone. Let's go over to the mid-tone. So, figuring this here. And then add the we've got a song that pretty much says your pet, your pet. We've got like a sound up there that came from CNN. I don't know what it was, but it's some other thing. The SY1 up there is obviously, as I was speaking earlier, the inspiration for the BRAP SY1, and the difference between that unit and the BRAP SY1 is that this is my hand picture. We still line. That's weird. Yeah. So, anyways, I was explaining that the SY1 here is analog. The BRAP unit being made is a dual digital, so it's kind of different in a lot of ways, but works in a similar manner. 2 channels, and thus. Next to that, is what they call the TB303. Bit of shine today. It's because it has a special custom fisherman plate, face
Oh,
plate.
wait, people are saying they can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me? Huh. How about now? Can you hear me a little better?
Sound better now?
Sound better now? Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's
Someone's-
probably because my back is to everybody, and you know, if your back is to the microphone, it's not advantageous.
Okay, what does it say here?
Yeah.
It's fine now.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's the TB303, an original one. As I was saying earlier, I compared this to a Behringer, and the balls, man, the balls is missing. You know, on the Behringer one, it's really nice to have a different one, but the original kind of sounds good. Yeah, so TB303 adds a bass line to the idea, and I don't know, it's kind of a one of a kind type deal. Next to it is its sister, the MC202 microcomposer. Over here on the display floor. The MC202, some say one of the hardest old school sequencers to program. In some ways, it is. It's because you have to go about it in a way that, well, I can show you. Would you guys like me to show you how to program this quickly? Okay, let's turn the power off on it and turn the power back on. And then what will happen is there's two buttons here. There's one called play and edit. We go into edit mode. You'll see that we can go up to something called pitch. And pitch is where we're going to edit the note or enter the notes. So like actually let's turn it on. We'll turn it on here. Okay, so we entered that many notes. Normally if I hit play, it would play, but it's waiting for sync from the DIN sync that's plugged into the top. And so what you do next is go back to edit into this step. This is what tells you the duration of the note that is being played. And this is where it gets complicated because people are like, what the hell? You know, it's not exactly the most straightforward. Well, the number 24, I believe, corresponds to eighths. And what we're looking for is we want to see the number 12. 12, there it is, 12. 12, enter. This is your first note. And let's go and hit it 12 again. It wants to give us a 12 each time. Usually it's nicer to me and gives me the same as what I just pushed in. Okay, let's give it a couple eighth notes in there. And then let's go back to a 16th. It's funny that a 16th says 12, even though it's not 16. No, it's 12. So that's why this box gets a notorious reputation for this type of scenario. Okay, at that point, then you are going to hit Shift and cycle. Actually, you got to hit play first and hit cycle. And then now this, it's very glitchy. Well, let's just keep on going. Let's see here. The 202. I've heard it's very glitchy. Forgive us, people. We're doing our best here with what we have today.
Is the Zoom audio thing, the original audio thing on?
Original audio.
Yeah.
It says non-original sound.
All right.
I could try that. As of this moment, Jay Snow, Mark Bark, Rennick, and Gernot. Please give us. Did you actually learn how to program A202 by that demo, or could you hear it? It says the internet connection is unstable. Oh, that's typical. Oh, that's so typical. Just when you get going, huh? But anyways, we shall continue. The MC202 is actually, as you can see here, I'm utilizing the CB gate outs and plugging into what's known as the System 100M on the top here. So the System 100M can actually work in tandem with the MC202. So as the MC202 is being triggered, yeah. So essentially, now as you can see, we built up quite a bit more stuff along the way, and this is typically how it's done. What I just did is I went up there and I actually physically turned on the TR-909. So the 909 has been playing in sync as well. So that is the two 808 drum machines. That is the Syncussion, and now we've seen the 202, the 303, and the way that the delay is being triggered as a sampler. What's left on this setup? Oh, a couple things. How about the first synth that I ever bought? noticing today this thing has like some serious tuning things, huh?
Right?
Like it doesn't like. You might recognize this synth from the very early first Skinny Puppy sound, the wailing synth sounds and stuff was always this baby, and always this baby live too. This baby has been at so many Skinny Puppy concerts, more than most people, and is kind of like the thing that, you know, as I said, it was like it's been the bass synth, it's been a sequence synth. It's like Glass Houses was mainly written on this. All sorts of the early Skinny Puppy stuff. It's always good to have a theremin. Yep, we got the theremin. That's always a nice thing. And lastly but not leastly, from this drum machine here, the first drum machine, in addition to it running, now everything in the room is basically running from that same sync. Let me turn off that 909 for a second. Well, it's not funny how you turned that on and off as soon as I hit that. So it sounded like something was going to explode.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, synchronicity. Synchronicity.
It's Sunday. Sundays usually are weird glitch days.
I want to show you these two things here. These two things are basically still, this is my original Simmons SDS5 electronic. And I've noticed just in setting this up for this jam that it isn't operating the way that it's supposed to, but I can still use it. It's still allowing me to play it, but it just doesn't like today. It's some reason about it doesn't like today. So, let's hear it. This one is... You can see the trigger coming in here. But this one above it, you can see the triggers. It's awesome. So this should give a better idea of how, like, triggers. Oh, bright light. This should give a better idea of how triggers are being utilized to basically control the music. And essentially, this was how, believe it or not, all the old songs are written. Assimilate, The Choke, basically, you name it, was written under this setting. And I wouldn't say it's easy, because it's definitely requires the knowledge of each machine and each box on their own, and then the ability to also have them sync and speak to each other, and then as well to be able to mix it effectively. You know, the whole thing is to have, like, as we see there, a mixer down there, a mixer, and oh, there's another synth there. that we didn't give the demo of yet. That's right. Let's see where we are.
Oh.
The SH-101. How could you not? So the SH-101, I'm sorry it's so dark and in this place. As you can see, there isn't a lot of room on this wall. But nevertheless, it is as well wanting to hear. It's waiting for a click from the, in this case, as you can see, the well typed out thing says the sequencer is the 8 accent going to the SH-101. So if I go to accent on the selector here, bass drum, accent, you'll see this is the triggers that is being sent to the SH-101. And then the SH-101 is waiting for it, and there's the SH-101. And basically, that's what this song built up to. I mean, obviously, every single time you're going to do this, the song's going to be some different thing, right? This is what it turned out to today. And each idea, if you're writing, you would want to write your sequences and stuff in the same key. So, but basically, yeah, it was playing around a G, A, sort of like arrangement between each one of the sequences. And basically that means that, when you finally start turning them on and stuff with each other, that they're all going to play together and sound right together. And I don't know, I suppose there's a lot of easier ways to do this with Rebirth and all that sort of stuff, but I don't think it sounds the same. What do you think?
I think the closest you could probably get would be with the Rolling Cloud stuff.
Right.
At least for the drum machines,
Yeah.
And then maybe some of the Arturia synths, but in general, not a whole lot of things. There's definitely nothing that really does the MC202, that sound or that workflow.
The 166 compressor, Mark, is compressing that entire mixer out back there. So there's a stereo channel that's running from that mixer into this mixer up here. And then I'm able to then take everything up at this mixer here and bus it into Logic. And in this case, that's what we're going to do next, is we're going to record some stuff. And Dre is going to show us his setup about how what are you thinking with today there? Looks like you got a nifty little rig.
Today we're using some of the same stuff I use with the Analog Rhythm, but I'm using it in a different way now. I'm actually using the individual outs on the Analog Rhythm, and they're all going into the Blue Box, which will allow me to have more control over my mix and to run individual drum sounds through different effects. So today, the Poly and the Zoya will be acting as my effects units for the drum machine.
So what I'm going to do in a sec, guys, is that I'm going to give you the direct mix and not a mic mix of some of the music that we're playing here as we are recording it. And that way it should sound even better. Right now you're just hearing it kind of like hearing it from the room mic over there. So I should even be facing the room mic when I'm speaking, otherwise whatever, but so what we're doing is right then and there you were seeing that that sync box over here, the Roland, was running on internal sync. Well, let's shift it up to MIDI sync. What that's waiting for now is MIDI clock, and MIDI clock is what is going to drive everything on that wall. So this way we can control it from another source. And in this case, we'll be controlling it from Logic. So if I press play up here, I can start it and stop it.
Oh, wait, do you want to do that one more time? I can show them. That
Okay.
I'm getting.
So you can see that I received the MIDI clock was received back there and triggering it, coming now into Logic, which is actually going into an audio track. It's bussed into an audio track, and it is ready for recording.
Okay,
The thing that I would recommend though is I'll display how to record this, because I wouldn't do it in one take. I would do it in a series of takes. That's usually the best way if you want to retain anything that you can edit later. Maybe you don't want a sequence on, etc., etc. So Dre, you're gonna sync now at the same time and just show us.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna show that I'm also getting clock
All right.
from over here. You can see I'm getting clock. Yeah. You see it running.
Yes, sirree. So you've got sync. I've got sync. The first thing you do is you decide, when you have an idea like this, is what would you record first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we could record as a jam, or we could record it like a song. There's two different ways. When we work as a jam, basically, we'll end up with a 2-track recording. I know people will say, well, why don't you have separate tracks set up for input, like multi-track recording on Logic? We should have. The thing is that the one path that we use in the studio is kind of like a master path. So it has like the Manley a massive passive and the overstayer, compressor, and EQ in line with the channel. And so to speak, I call it like the super stereo bus channel. And so what we typically do is, as I was saying, we break it down and record a pass, so to speak. So in this case,
Yeah, like a live take.
a live take. And in some cases, it's as simple as, well, what would I do in this case? Well, I'd probably turn off the Pro One. I'd probably turn off the nice melodic sequences. In that sense, the 202, the 100, the 303, that bass line. I would probably turn off that, the accented snares, the hi-hat, and let's see what we can start off with here. The best way to just show you guys the best way. Okay, let's start with the Images in Vogue the Images in Vogue machine, the SDS5. Let's start with that, people. How does that sound? Sound good? Let's hear what it sounds like first. Okay, that sounds all right. So what I'll probably do now is do a pass of like what would consider to be, don't run anything yet because we'll take you separately.
Right.
We're going to take a pass of that, but with some noises and with some of the, let's call it like the thing that we took from the TV, from CNN. We'll start with the thing from CNN. How's that sound, people? That sounds right. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yo, You okay? You okay? You okay? You okay? You okay? You okay? You okay?
Well, it definitely sounds like. What does that sound like to you, Dre? You're a pet.
You're a pet.
You're a pet.
You're a pet. You're a pet.
You okay? You okay? You okay? You okay? You okay? You okay?
Or yo
You
pet.
okay? You okay?
Yo pet.
You okay? 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 You okay?
So, for the sake of time and everything like that, that's about a length of a pass that I would say that is a typical thing. You know, pass that you would use as like a basis of like a track you could edit from. And now I would now move on to another audio track at this point. And actually, what I will do here is copy the structure of this one. This one here. And secondary, you got to decide, well, what would we put next? Melodic stuff you could put next. You could put in a bass line, or you could put in more
Maybe bass
drums. What do you guys think? I'm gonna leave it. Let's pose a question to the audience. Let's see here. Everybody got this audio going okay there? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes, sirree. We're in melody. Okay, bass line. Bass line?
Yeah. Bass.
Let's see how good we can apply that bass line. Yeah? Okay, I'm gonna turn off this stuff that's still on here. That's on there. Let's hear what the bass line sounds like. Okay, now that you've got your sound and your track armed. Okay, so the reason I just laid it down without any ons and offs is so that we have it to edit later. You can edit your ons and offs, your ins and outs. You would never run it like that all that time. But since we have it there, then we don't have to worry. We can move it around and edit in and out whenever we like it. So yeah, baseline captured. So then the next thing I would go then arm another track here. I can show you guys what I'm doing. Going on, this is now the third track. Make sure to save it up each time. Oh, the Chat Jam. 120.06 BPM. I don't know why 0.06, but anyways, on the third track here, this is going to be the melodic thing. This is where it's coming in from. The melodic structure means turning off the bass line that we just did, and then we shall come over here and do the mutes. Let's see here. I think the best way to do this, let's do it this way. So we'll do the cam over here so you guys can see what's going on up here. Okay, so when we release this, the melodic structure was laid down. You will notice that when I'm doing that, there's a bit of latency as far as it's concerned. What's really weird is that because everything in the studio has the same amount of latency, is that when I record it, basically all three tracks will have the exact same amount of latency and then compensate for the latency in the system, which is the latency between the recording and the actual analog devices. It's probably about, I don't know, it's a few milliseconds, but it does make a difference so that when I play it back, it will be in line. And then what I can do is group edit all of the tracks to then be exactly at the right BPM locked in. I mean, it's weird. We kind of have a system here. We know, isn't it funny, Dre? We know that when we lay down a track, that when we're recording, it kind of sounds like it might be a little bit out.
Yeah.
But then when we play it back, we're like, oh no, we know that that's probably going to be the case. That sounds right. So what I'm going to do now is lay down the TR-909, which is bussed up here to the board. It's on its own track. It's not on that mixing console back there. So I'm gonna bust this in and track this now. You ready, guys? We've now laid down 4 tracks, 4 stereo passes, and you can see it's weird is that the song kind of like forms itself if you edit, like if you take it in that way. It might not be perfect, but I mean, this is the way that we used to record. This is exactly, we're doing today exactly what we did, what I did in the day. And so this is essentially, it's really not that different, except that now, I would get into doing some hand played stuff and doing an overdub where I would go to the Multimoog or the Theremin and do some accented stuff, such as, why don't we just do it? Yeah. Should we do it?
Yeah.
So, just for time's sake, that was kind of like what I meant. Like kind of like a thing where it's kind of like a melodic thing. In some cases, what I like to do is take like what I just did and flip it backwards. And if you basically do a cut in between bars that are evenly, like say, an equal amount of bars, you basically could wind up with something that will still remain in time and possibly work. But I mean, that's what this is all about, is experimenting, right? So next, I would go and just fiddle about. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys what's going on here on the wall the wall is sort of finished its duty, and so now we're going to go into here. I don't know how well you can see that screen though.
It's a bit washed out.
Kind of like washed out.
Maybe bring it closer.
Let's see if we can bring it closer. It doesn't like it. I don't know why. But what I'm going to do here...
You can see the waveform though.
Yeah, so you can see it. What I'm going to do here is, when I go into Logic, we have now 5 tracks. And in Logic, if you go in, you can basically put these into latch mode. It's kind of like similar to Pro Tools. You guys have latch mode in Pro Tools as well. And latch mode means it's going to remember all of my moves that I'm going to do on whatever I do to each track. So there's 5 tracks there. So last time I think I had this started with mute there, and let's just see how it goes. So. So don't be afraid to just go back and be like automation, undo, if you don't like the flow. And don't hit record. So some of those things work and some of those things don't work so well. Like the Images in Vogue drum is a little bit wonky out of time, I'd say. I'd probably relay down if we're in the real world situation right here, I'd probably go relay down the first track that I did without that. So it would be tighter. But for the sake of it all, today in this demonstration, this is kind of like what's going. And then now, along the way, typically, Dre would be also working on an idea that I'd be like, okay, I put you on the spot, Dre. Now it's time for you.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna. What I would typically do is, while the idea is running, is I would audition some sounds to create some patterns. So. That's the current kit I have in there. Oh, nice noisy kick. So yeah, I would audition some sounds. It's like maybe not that kit, but let's go through a couple kits.
It doesn't
real
like
quick.
It doesn't like that screen.
Which screen? Oh, the monitor.
Yeah. It's that effect device that you like. It has a bit of noise on it.
No, it's the rhythm.
The rhythm?
I think the samples.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like the gate.
Sample
yeah.
has it. Looks like we lost your
Oh no.
phone 7.
Here, hang on here. Why is he not going by? Was it charge? Make sure I'm charging. Yeah. There we go. So
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, most of the stuff in the day, you guys, was recorded to a 4-track cassette versus a computer, obviously. And I do have the original 4-track in the next room, and it is completely broken. Kind of sad. I tried to take it in and get it restored, and the guys told me that it wasn't something I can do without a major expense. So I got a different one. I have a newer version of a Porta Studio. It's the blue version of the Tascam one, which I have right now here. So I can still use it, and I don't record to them anymore. But I use the same theory on how to do it. Let's hear what Dre has to say. You want to try some stuff?
Just give me one more second.
He doesn't like to be rushed.
I'm getting peculiar about my kit now. Now that I'm on the spot, I'm like, oh, what should we do? What will be the most impressive? Oh, let's see if this has got the sound.
I would say the high pitched hi hat stuff is a little too high. I would say go for like the drummy, more of a drumming kick snare. So generally,
We do a lot of sound design on the spot.
can you send me sync?
All
Condor, we can send you sync.
right. It's just
One-
120.
One day we really should be able to do that. It's 120 BPM. The theremin hasn't been added. That is correct, Brian. We'll add the theremin after Dre lays down his part. Let's do a really simple nice pitch, almost like small drums, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
something like that.
Ooh, we got a little zap zap in there. God, why the output's so noisy. All right, you want to roll me some sync?
Yeah, here we're gonna roll Dre some sync here,
Oh,
and I'm
something
also
like
going to do something for you guys out there in Wonderland, and we are going to click into the wonderful world of, you won't hear my voice, but you will hear the music.
Oh
You guys ready for
it'll-
that?
It'll sound much better.
First of all, let's ask. Could everyone hear that? Could everyone hear that? Okay. Nick and Bert Spanker, ICC Direct. Could you guys hear that when I switched that over? Better? It should have sounded a lot better. Either that or not at all. The System 100 was used in this. So the System 100 was being kind of like triggered from the MC202, and the MC202 was sending out CB gate to it. So it's kind of like doing a tighter sound. And Dre, are you ready to lay down some stuff?
Yeah, I believe I am.
Dre is ready, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we mean about a guy that's always ready to go.
All right.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Oh yeah, the other thing that's part of our thing is like sound design on the spot. You know, you gotta try to find stuff that works with it. It can be challenging at times, but sometimes, you know.
Well, we've gotten used to it,
Yeah.
right? Like over 10 years of doing this. So I'll work on an idea, and then at the same time, Dre will also be working on his sounds that he has, and then this is typically how it's gone for a lot of songs that we've written together. But
So we're doing this just slightly differently.
yeah,
Just today.
slightly differently today for the demo to show you like basically this is without so far any virtual instruments or effects from anywhere. This is just all analog. And so with Dre's stuff, that's still all analog. That's the analog rhythm.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
analog.
I'm just using the analog rhythm as my sound
Yeah.
source, and then these guys here for effects later.
Let's run a track for you, and I'm going to put it back on the nice sounding one. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
So apparently you're only hearing Dre on the input. That's weird. It might be because that. Oh, I know why. It's because if it's record active, if the track is record active, and there's something only playing back on that track, I think it will only play back that. In fact, that track. Let's try it now and tell me if you guys can hear the whole song. Give me a thumbs up if you then can now hear like all the other stuff. Okay, I know why. Everything has to be assigned to the input to be heard. And that makes perfect sense. How I have to do that is, in this case, I know how I can do that. We shall do this very quickly, actually. Okay, I'll assign all these to another output, which is right, like this. And then you guys will be here to hear the whole song idea. And then, yes, as I was saying earlier, this idea is then going to go to the Patreon Remix crew. Since you guys do such a damn good job with everything that's going on, then I thought it would be good to put it to you guys.
Oh, gotta put it to you.
Yeah, put it to you. Let's see here. Hang on. And then what you need to do is you need to assign it to a track with the 5, 6, input 1 and 2. There we go. You guys are ready? You want to hear the whole song? Okay, that should work. Yes. So what happens there is you need to reassign your outputs to the input, and you don't want there to be feedback. So if you don't want feedback, then you reassign it to another channel. So yeah, so that's basically how it goes. I thought that turned out reasonably okay, considering that usually when we do things on the spot, things sometimes don't work out very well. Isn't that right, though?
Oh yeah. Such as
I would say that, you know, the wall. I mean, the essence of the wall and everything about it is exciting.
Mhm.
It's something that I'll never sell, so I'll always have this thing. And as you see, it always turns out something that kind of sounds. It sounds cool. I mean, it has a sound.
And the crazy thing is, it's still functional.
Still functional. Unfortunately, there are some things that I was disappointed that weren't as functional as I wanted them to be. The Siemens unit seems to be like half the modules say they're working, but they're not. So
Oh, the
the SDS5, this baby here.
you
And
should tell them the story about how Rihanna had to bring you one,
bring me what?
bring you one of the Syncussions on the tour.
Yeah, so I use point to the box there. I use this box live,
That one.
and you guys have heard it if you've seen it.
Lift the camera up a little.
You guys have seen us. If you've seen Skinny Puppy
There you
live,
go.
you've heard this box. The two drums to my right, one is an extremely low booming sound that if it sounds right, the whole building can vibrate. I've seriously heard the whole building just go. Ooh. It's one of my most favorite things ever. And then so when it blew up on the tour, it was really noticeable, right?
Yeah.
It was like, where the fuck is the big
It's
booms?
like it's gone.
It's gone.
No bass.
And
no
I had
bass
to set. I couldn't fix it, so I had to tour for the rest of the tour without it. And it is the reason why the BRAP was invented, was because the guy that I take my unit to be repaired so many times read the schematic, got the original schematics for the unit, and figured out how we could maybe build a bigger and better, newer one. So that was the idea, and that's what led to BRAP being discovered. But however, that unit, the original Pearl SY1, there's nothing touches the bottom end on that thing. You know, it really is something. I think that the Behringer stuff, like the 808s and the 909s and the Pro 1s, are a nice effort, but they don't sound like those originals, I don't think. I think they sound similar. I think there are similarities, and of course the way we program them are similar. But I think the overall, the overall thing is not the same. But if you can get a Behringer for like $200, then have fun with it.
Oh, you're talking about like the Behringer Pro.
Yeah,
ones?
how the Behringers basically are they release a lot of the remakes. I have them right here, as you can see. The Pro ones. And for the sake of this demo today, I'm glad that I could use the Real Pro One, because the Real Pro One has a sound that I can obtain it on these, but it's just not the same. So there you go again. I think I get caught on this spiel every single time I do one of these live streams.
And the old gear.
Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna check if there's any questions here. Ska, good to see you.
Ska.
Simon Paul, I've heard about you. Everybody, thank you for your compliments here. That's very nice. Let's talk about the t-shirts, guys. The t-shirt designs, the t-shirt contest. So originally we were thinking of doing the top 2, and then we decided that we'll probably do the top 3. And now that we're there, we might do 4, because everyone was correct in that the shirt with the paying tribute to the past spirits is very much in line with Dwayne, Al, and Phil. And so I think that it would be appropriate to make that one as well. So we'll probably make 4 shirts, and those will be on pre-order sometime, probably coming up next week. So stay tuned for that, everybody. Had some very good news about BRAP. I actually almost barely want to say it, just in case I
You don't
jinx
want to
it.
jinx it.
But so the parts showed up. The parts that we're looking for and have been out have showed up. We found them. They're only in one place. If they go away tomorrow, I shouldn't be saying this. So we're going to try and acquire them over the course of this next period. And if we do, we'll be able to make 250 limited edition BRAPs, which hopefully will be coming before the end of the year. And in that case, I will let you guys all know. That was like the most exciting piece of news that I got on the same day as I got the wax pictures for the new toy. So it's weird how everything all seems to happen in tandem.
The synchronicity.
Synchronicity. What's going on with you, Dre? Anything new? You DJing tonight?
I am DJing. I will be on the Square Wave TV channel. I'm not sure what time. Probably anywhere in between, I'd want to say 8. Probably 8 at the latest. 8 till 10. And then I will be doing my channel as well.
So you'll be on
hosting.
Square Wave TV from 8 to 10, and then your channel?
Yeah, I'll be on my channel tomorrow.
Shiza
Yeah, the DJ Shiza. DJ underscore
on Twitch
Shiza.
as well?
Yep. Yeah, I got a couple of remixes I need to work on over my 2 days off. But yeah, I was just kind of doing a little experimental setup here with the blue box because it has so many ends. I decided to try something different. You know.
Yeah.
It's a bit noisy, but I'll figure that out. I think that has to do with the built-in compressors or something in here. I can get in there and tweak all that and like noise gate stuff. But yeah, it's kind of cool to do something new.
Nice.
And I will also have individual stems of each drum to give to Kevin for the remix thing. So then if you want to chop up the drum sounds and use them individually, you can make
You mean for what we just did?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it
you
should
can
be
make
okay.
hits, right?
What I'm going to do, just so you guys all know, for the Patreon portion of this, is that I'm going to put it together now, a mix, and I'm going to post it up on the Patreon over the course of this week, and you guys can download it, and we can start the Patreon Remix 10 on the song that we created together today here in the studio.
That'll be fun.
And it will be fun. And what's kind of cool is that I think that a huge part of the melodic section is still left open. And so melodically it still could build up. And in some ways rhythmically it could still, I think, still be emphasized in some manner. But we had a gas. I had a gas
Yeah.
making it to you. I hope it was fun for you guys.
That's usually what we what's what we say? Make a zombie. Oh, there is one. I do have a band camp.
Zombie Dre, what is your band count?
I believe it's the Data Bomb. That's with 2 E's.
THEE Data Bomb. The Data Bomb?
Yeah.
That is what your band camp
Yeah,
is
that's
called?
my band camp.
Yep. And Dre is on there. And he's also DJing pretty much all the time on Twitch. So if you guys are
Yeah.
interested, we're trying
Monday's
to.
going to be special. A special.
What are we going to do for
thing.
Halloween?
That's a good question because I'm not working that
Well-
Sunday, so we should do something spooky.
Why don't we figure out something here somehow, and
We
then
can do a
everyone
spooky
can have fun.
tunes.
I know there's a chat that day too, but I won't tell you guys who I got lined up for that.
Ooh, why don't we what about a Subcon radio?
I'd have to check into the status over this week of Subcon Radio. It's also possible to DJ on here on Zoom via live chat. So we just have to figure out which way to do it.
Or
And maybe everyone can vote You'll
Oh,
be
yeah,
at the
vote
church
DJ.
DJing.
Vote DJ or Brap.
The church is a nice place. Oh, Joe, that's Joe. Hi, Joe. You're talking about being at the church.
Hi, Joe.
Everyone say hi, Joe.
I hope you feel better after your surgery.
Yeah, Joe. Big up to you and everything going on in the surgery. By the way, I had a scare during this week. I had to go to the doc,
The doc.
and the doc said, "I want you to come back and do an ultrasound on your liver." And I think it was because I didn't know that taking ibuprofen PM every night was bad for you. I was kind of being silly, so I was taking it like for a couple of years every night because I had like bad insomnia, and I think that's probably what it is. So I like stopped that, and then I've eaten, thanks to Rihanna, I've eaten about 4 pounds of carrots, grapes, blueberries, and everything over the past month. So I think I've definitely detoxed myself into a better place. And anyways, my ultrasound came back everything normal, except for like one little thing that I think is treatable. But it's always scary when you have to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm also been very affected lately because Mr. Fisherman, bless his heart, he's doing okay. You know, his demeanor is okay, bless his heart. But we end up crying all like every day. Me and Rihanna are just crying over our cat because like I know he isn't long from the world. So those of you that have sent love to Fish in the past, we thank you. He is definitely in a position now where every little a bit of love counts. So send out some love for him if you can.
Big love for the fish.
Big love to Fish. And big love to all you guys, because like I don't know if I tell you enough, but Patreon has become like something that it's become a life. It's something that's every week. It's something that I enjoy, and getting in touch with you guys is something that I never expected to do in life, but now that I am doing it, I find it is quite rewarding. It's better than just, you know, being on your own world and doing your own thing all the time and not ever having an outlet to speak about it. So I want to thank you guys for being a part of this and helping it to exist.
I want to thank my homie for having me. You know, show you guys what we do. You know, get the little insight. Yeah, this is just like a little portion of how we've been doing things since 2003. Yeah,
Pretty
so I
much.
came down here. Yeah.
Pretty much, man. We've been doing it a while, and I appreciate you, Mr. Dre.
And you as well.
Thank you very much for all that you do and coming by. And I guess this about wraps up today's chat. But thanks you once again, everybody. Tune in soon for another nice new adventure, and big love to all of you. All right? Peace out.